He said, you think you're an introvert because you like being at peace. In actuality, you love being at peace. You're actually extroverted around the people who bring you peace. The problem is when it comes to strangers or people who are not that close to us on a regular basis, we tell ourselves certain lies about what they're going to do, what they're going to say. They're going to reject me. They're not going to like me. And so we just never bother to have that conversation. Let's talk about why. Who knows about negativity bias? So this is a psychological phenomenon that we all have. Congratulations, you're human. And it was first talked about by Rosen Royce. And here's how I think about it. Whenever you have two things of equal energy, one negative, one positive, the negative one is going to have a far greater impact on our psyche. Think about it like this. If you're going to the dentist and it's a -6 versus going to a party which is a +6, the dentist is going to weigh more on your head. What's interesting is they did this in this experiment. Dread, the anticipation of something negative versus positive anticipation, dread gets worse the closer the thing draws. Then the positive anticipation gets better. Meaning, if you're at a -6 for the dentist's office, by the time that Friday comes around, you might be at a -9 versus the party that's a +6, you might only be at a +7. So the classic example they give on this is if you opened up a box of bunnies, and in that box of cute little bunnies, there's one cobra snake. Where are you going to pay attention to? Pay attention to my Jesse L. duty. Yes, the snake. And by the way, we should. We should pay attention to this snake. That's a good thing that our bodies are built in. Whether you believe in evolution or creation, I don't care. We're not having that conversation. It's a good thing that our bodies think that way until it's not a good thing. I used to train faculty in a form of life, and we'd have a room full of other faculty. Somebody would get up on stage for 20 minutes and do a presentation, and the rest of the room would write down two things. What did they do well? What could they do differently? I didn't hear the language. Not what did they do bad, what could they do differently? And after they were done for 10 minutes, I would come up to the front of the room and I would say, your peers are going to share with you what they thought that you did well and what you could do differently next time. Are you ready to hear that? They'd say yes. And I'd say, before they do, would you please share first what you did well, second, what you could do differently? What do you think they led with every single time? Negative. Yeah. Everything they did wrong. First of all, I fumbled over that word and I went over my timing. I'm going, whoa. Start with well. And even then, they would still go back to the negative. This is part of being a human. We do that. It's biological and it's a good thing for us until we don't recognize when it's not a good thing for us. So when we talk about negativity bias and we talk about real estate, anybody ever done circle prospecting around an open house? You could have an amazing section of circle prospecting where you're meeting the neighbors, you're talking about their future real estate needs, you're getting their contact information, you're putting it in your database. And what are you going to remember when you go home that night and tell your wife about it? The one jerk who slammed the door in your face. That's exactly right. And then what happens the next time we even think about going out to those circle prospecting? We talk ourselves out of it. Okay. And by the way, there's confirmation bias, which exacerbates this. Confirmation bias says we as humans, we have an opinion, and then we look for evidence to support that opinion. Right? It's why when you look on Google or Instagram or TikTok, whatever your version of algorithm is, they don't serve you up ads from the opposing political party, do they? The only time they do is when the comment section is raking that individual over the coals. They don't serve you up ads from other religions, do they? Because they know that they don't want to piss you off. They want you to come back. Confirmation bias, and they know it very well. So when you think about this, now we're going to add in another psychological phenomenon, the human condition. It's called orders of intentionality, theory of mind. Now, this is a good thing. What makes us empathetic to one another that we think about what you think, right? So orders of intentionality goes something like this. I think. It's first order. I think. I think I'm good. Second order. I think, you think. So there's a word sonder. And it describes the realization that I'm not the main character of your movie. You are, right? I think, you think. That's the second part. I think, you think I'm sleazy or sales or pushy. Third one, I think, you think, I think. I think, you think, I think that I'm going to get you to lower the price of your house just so I can get my greedy little commission check. Fourth order, I think, you think, I think, you think, so and so on. Most of us as human beings keep about 5 to 6 quarters of intentionality in our head before we have to write it down on paper. So, question. Which of these can we get wrong?
All of them.
Yeah, especially number one, I think. That's why they have psychiatrists and psychologists and lots of psychopharmaceuticals. But what we really start to get wrong is when we start making assumptions about what somebody else is thinking. And then it gets worse when we start assuming what they think we're thinking, and so on and so forth. That's orders of intentionality. What's interesting about this is that together, this really trips us up when it comes to calling or sphere of influence. I call them, but I just don't want to annoy my friends and family members. I don't want to come across sales and use scripts on a deal, right? Or when we go to post videos, how many of you don't post videos because you don't like the way you look or sound? Be honest. Yeah. Hey, Ray, too. You look and sound that way. And you're doing it out in public right now, man. So how do we combat this? Well, let's start here. I know those of you in southern Canada over there can't see this. This is a series of quotes. However you need to hear this, take your pick. So Mel Robbins says, "Not everyone likes you, but not everyone matters." I think my favorite one here is Colin Powell. If everybody likes you, you have a serious problem. I don't know when this happened. I don't know. In Texas, in a licensing school, we have to take principles one, principles two. I don't know what you guys have here, but in real estate schools, it seems to teach real estate agents that everybody has to like you. That when you get out of real estate, you're supposed to yell out, "Hello, world," at the top of your lungs, and the world is going to respond. That is not the case. Find your vibe, find your tribe, and you will be successful in this industry. If you don't, you won't. If you're trying to make everybody like you, you've got a serious problem. So let's talk about some coping mechanisms to get us out of this. Congratulations. You just won the lottery, $10,000. In fact, you're so good, you won it twice. You won it twice. Two $10,000 lotteries. But sorry, the Ohio Lottery Commission says you can only cash that one ticket. The other one has to be gone and given away to somebody not in your immediate family. You got to pick up your phone right now, call the first contact in your phone you can find, and give them that $10,000. Is anybody hesitating to have that conversation? Does anybody think they're going to think I'm salesy? They're going to think I'm pushy if I try to give them $10,000? Isn't it the case that if somebody were to work with you instead of some other agent, and you know the agent I'm talking about, that they'd probably at least make or save $10,000 on the purchase or sale? Again, Ziegler, if you don't have confidence in yourself, nobody else will. Isn't it the case that they would make or save $10,000 at least with you rather than working with another agent? Yes. Absolutely. You bring value. You bring value. And if you don't know what value to bring, come to the university. We will tell you exactly what value to bring. I can talk to you about Meredith Alberson every October. She does a photography thing. She has hires a professional photographer to come, invites her entire sphere for photos. Now, most of the people use them for their Christmas cards or Hanukkah cards or whatever, but she has people show up in suits for their business photo. Doesn't matter. She does that every October. I can tell you about Jeremy King. He says to his past clients, hey, you have a financial planner that you meet with at least once a year to talk about a $25,000 stock portfolio. Who's helping you with the largest asset you own and advising you financially on that? Why don't we meet? And he has an entire thing that he does with them. We'll tell you it all. I can tell you about Kirby Chen, how he does a neighborhood-wide garage sale. I can tell you about his ice cream social he does. I can tell you about value after value after value that our top agents are bringing and just telling you exactly what to go do. Right? So when it comes to value, if you don't know, plug in. That's an easy one to solve. Okay? The next one, just decide. Here's an interesting thing to think about. Those dialogues you have in your head about what people are that think about you, you can decide that they think good things about you and just act that way. And if you're going, I don't know, that sounds new agey there, Mr. Crystals and Harmony. It's not. You're already doing it. You're just making the puppets up here say negative things instead of positive things. You can just decide. Is it awkward? Yeah. Who plays a musical instrument here? Who plays a musical? What do you play? Clarinet. I saw another hand over here. What do you play?
Guitar. Guitar.
Guitar. All right. So when you pick up the clarinet and you picked up the guitar for the first time, did you just rock out a banger? I don't know how you rock out a banger. Did you rock out a banger the first time? How about the first week? First year? No. Time. It takes time. Yes, it's going to be awkward. But let me ask you something. Is there anything better that you could master than not beating yourself up mentally? It's worth it. So we talk about the 5-to-1 rule. Here's I actually know Robin's wrote a book on this. I think she called it the 5-second rule. So the 5-to-1 rule is the deep in pool effect, right? So whatever it is that you're supposed to be doing and you're having those negative thoughts, count down from 5 and just do the next one step. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, hit call on the phone. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, knock the door. Knock the door. If you're catastrophizing, or if you hit that one door with that rude gentleman or lady, the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 is a reset mechanism. It is 5 things you can see, 4 things you can feel, 3 things you can hear, 2 things you can smell, 1 thing you can taste. It's a negative loop break. It's a pattern interrupt in your thought process that forces you to be mindful and present and gets you out of that negative loop of I'm going to get that jerk or catastrophizing or whatever the case might be. Future facing pre-game rituals. I'll talk about my son Oliver. My son Oliver is almost 9 years old. Last November, he wanted to start Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Big brother pulled him, big sister Harper and dad did this, so he wants to do it. 3 months in, he wants to go do a tournament. I don't know how much you guys know about Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. That's not advisable. 3 months in. But I thought, okay, let's get him the experience, right? And I talked to him, don't worry about winning or anything like that. Just go learn what a tournament is like, because he's anxious about it. So right before his match, I pull him over and I said, hey, here's what's going to happen. The ref is going to line you up with your opponent, and he's going to say, combate, 14 fight. And then what are you going to do? And he says, I'm going to take it down. Great, what takedown? Double up. Okay, great. Then what are you going to do? I'm going to pass this bar. Okay, great. Then what are you going to do? I'm going to mount him. No. What do we do after we pass the bar? Oh, yeah, side control. Okay, then what are you going to do? What do you think happened when the referee said combate? By the way, if you can't see it, that's him with a gold medal around his neck. Right. 3 months in. 3 months in. Future pacing yourself and making sure that you understand what's going to happen in those conversations and how to deal with it. Folks in the room who say things like, I don't like scripts. Scripts are simply that. It's just future pacing. Nobody's asking you to read it verbatim. It's just future pacing. Understanding where you want to take the dialogue and how best to get there. Right? But visualizing yourself having that conversation. Pre-game rituals. Anybody with an athlete at a high level? Weirdest stuff you've ever seen in the locker room. Yes? Yeah. So Oliver was anxious. And my wife, smart lady that she is, she said, you know what helps with anxiousness? Sour Patch Kids. Sour Patch Kids. Well, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, right? Taste, texture. takes you out. So she buys him a big bag of Sour Patch Kids right before the tournament. He's like, Dad, I'm really nervous. I think I'm eating 2 Sour Patch Kids. We're walking from the tournament back to the car. He's got a big old gold medallion on his neck. It's like Flavor Flav. And he's got a big grin on his face. And he goes, Dad, we need to get more Sour Patch Kids before the next tournament. Whatever your thing is, if you're low energy, amp yourself up, right? Fight music, whatever you need. If you're high energy, meditate. Get to where you need to be. Pre-game ritual is everything, right? Making sure that you've done the work the night before to pull the lists or whatever, so that you're not letting those things distract you. Pre-game ritual. Final thing, reward the activity. So when we talk about this, it's important to understand the difference between good and bad habits. So if I said, pick up your phone right now and call somebody, and as soon as you're done, I'm going to give you $10,000. Anybody not playing that game? It's the immediacy of the reward, right? So good habits, bad habits are inverse to one another. So bad habits, when you think about them, they have immediate reward, long-term challenges. Alcohol, drugs, chocolate cake, immediate reward, long-term challenges. Good habits have the opposite. Immediate challenge, long-term reward. Think about going to the gym 3 days a week and making the time to do it. All the effort, blood, sweat, and tears of doing it. Eating salads on a regular basis don't taste as good as chocolate cake. Right? Making the calls, knocking the doors. Here's what's even more challenging for us. Is it if I met a ready, willing, and able person today, it's going to take me about 100 days to see the reward from that. And the trouble is, it's going to take me even longer to find that person. So the immediacy of my reward is much longer to run out. This is why bad habits are so easy to set and so hard to break. But learn from that. So here's my question for you. If you were to get a commission check, let's say we just sold a $10 million house, what are we doing with that commission check? What are we doing? How are we spoiling themselves? Where are we going? You guys are not fun at all. You're not doing anything fun? What's that? House. Did you say house plants? All right. Hey, I'm not pretty up here, young. Yes, house plants. Let's go. Pretty nice house. Okay. Yeah. New car. We're taking my spouse out for dinner. We're celebrating, right? We celebrate the result. Does that lead to more result? When we celebrate the activity, though, that leads to more activity, right? And so now it's got to be commensurate. We can't get in the car just because we made one steer ball, right? And it needs to be in line with our goal. Meaning, if my reward for going to the gym each time can't be that I get to eat chocolate cake in the car after this, right? That's counterproductive, right? So when fast casual, by the way, we do this. We ask them what's going to be your reward for the activity. And we hear things like a glass of wine, which is cool. Well, you got to do this again tomorrow. Or I'm going to binge watch Netflix. Great, that's awesome. So what's your reward for yourself for doing your activities? Does anybody do that, by the way? Yeah. What's your reward?
Oh, just chilling out. Just doing absolutely nothing. That's all.
As a father of four, that is an absolutely delightful treat. He said, doing absolutely nothing. I wish, man. One day.